institutions sue you?
Certainly we were having cash flow problems like everyone else is in agriculture.
All right. And if JoAnn died, everything would be set back a year.
We had a moratorium arrangement, both ways.
Your car, a car checked out to you by the government of Saskatchewan, was seen for several days apparently stalking JoAnn Wilson.
That was not my car. I did not have the car that you suggest was stalking JoAnn.
So now the government records are wrong? You've taken deny to new heights already. And we haven't even started yet. All right. Let's get on to your witnesses, the ones who provided you with an alibi.
All those witnesses came here, and they testified under the Perjury Act, not with immunity. If you think they're not telling the truth, Mr. Kiava, then why don't you take appropriate action instead of asking me about it?
Oh, because I've got a much more interesting case here than a little perjury trial.
If you're accusing them of perjury, then why don't you do something about it? Why ask me about it? They testified. They are vulnerable. They don't have immunity like your witnesses.
Relax, Mr. Thatcher. If you're telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, nothing can hurt you.
It is very easy to say that my sons have lied. Why don't you step out on the courtroom steps and say that? Or you don't have immunity.
I've come to the end of my cross-examination, and I'll ask one final simple question. Did your hate for JoAnn Wilson lead you to kill her on that night?
I did not kill her. And I did not hate her.
Carver. Ed Swayze, head of Regina CID.
I've been expecting you guys.
It was an act of God that brought the man here. And I now ask to reopen the Crown's case to call this one witness.
Mr. Albright?
My lord, there's potentially significant prejudice to me in defense. Mr. Culver's now called.
And that's the only witness you propose to call?
Yes, my lord.
Very well.
Thank you, Lord.
Mr. Thatcher was a sitting member of the Liberal Party. I was the leader of the Conservative Party. I had convinced him, cajoled him into crossing the floor to become a Conservative. Subsequent to that time, we became friends.
Would you recount your connection with this matter before the court?
My wife and I had decided to go down to Arizona. I had said to Colin, would you like to join us? During the course of this entire time, I never heard Colin or the babysitter refer to JoAnn as anything but the bitch. My wife and I became rather upset about this because the children were present. Colin asked to speak privately to me. He opened up by saying, I have only one solution for the bitch. I've got to hire somebody to kill her.
Thank you. Would you answer my learned friend, please?
Someone had occasion once to refer to you as a cheap drunk. Do you drink often?
I have been known to drink too much sometimes, but not often, no.
Mr. Culver, I take it that you at no time ingest after an afternoon of drinks ever suggested to Mr. Thatcher, look, you've got 3 alternatives. You can hire a hitman, which isn't an alternative. You can settle, or you can let the lawyers and the courts bleed you dry.
I certainly said to him, you can let the lawyers and the courts bleed you dry. But never at any time did I suggest a hitman.
I take it that what you've been telling us this afternoon now isn't a flight of imagination on your part.
I am a great believer in friendship and loyalty. I don't have flights of imagination. I wish I did not have to be sitting in this chair.
Now, as the defense says, if you accept the evidence of witnesses who testified that Colin Thatcher was in Moose Jaw on the evening of the murder, Thatcher personally could not have committed the murder. Counsel for the defense has also told you that as the Crown has not produced any evidence that anyone other than Colin Thatcher killed JoAnn Wilson, it is your duty to find him not guilty. With respect, I am unable to agree with this argument. Many years ago, our law abolished the difference between a principal and a party to a crime. Colin Thatcher is charged with committing the offense of murder. Therefore, even if you do not find that he did the act of murder himself, he is equally guilty if you find and are satisfied that he either aided or abetted another or others in its commission. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will retire now, and we will await your verdict.
Well, the way I look at it is, the longer the jury stays out, the better it is for Colin. After all, it's Colin's word against scum like Anderson and Lynn Daly.
Hello? Thanks very much. The jury's back.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you agreed upon your verdict?
We have.
How say you? Do you find the accused guilty or not guilty on the charge of first-degree murder?
We find the accused guilty.
What did he say? Guilty.
I propose to proceed to sentencing, Mr. Albright. Would you stand, Mr. Thatcher? The jury having found you guilty of murder in the first degree, the sentence I must pronounce is mandatory. You will be imprisoned in a federal penitentiary for life, without eligibility for parole until you have served 25 years of your sentence. This court now stands adjourned.
Colin, tell me, how do you feel?
How do I look?
Colin? Mr. Thatcher, are you going to appeal? Why do you think Party's going to get
Doesn't matter now. I'm innocent. I did not do it. But it wasn't in the cards.